Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and welcome to the installation of the R1 style tank cover for the R3. So let me show you the tools that you're going to need to complete the job to get started on removing your stock tank cover to install this one. Okay, it's going to be a Phillips screwdriver, a handle for your 4mm Allen key and your 5mm Allen key. Okay, so to get to your tank area, first we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of explain everything all in one shot and then just go ahead and remove those parts. So first we're going to use our Yamaha key to remove our back passenger seat. After we remove the back passenger seat, we're going to go ahead and remove this plastic piece here, and that's going to be with your 4mm screw or Allen key. So those two screws. Once you remove this, it's going to be your 8mm two screws for your main driver seat. Once you remove that, next you're going to remove these two screws down here, which is with a 4mm Allen key, which is going to be the screw here and this screw right over here. After removing that, and you want to make sure that you remove these panels on both sides, because we have to get to the two screws that are both on each side of the motorcycle. So once you get to that part and you remove that on both sides, next we're going to be removing this piece right over here, and it's going to be two screws here, also with the 4mm Allen key. And then don't forget the two small Phillips head screws that are on the inside over here, on the inside part of that plastic piece. So, and then there's another little Phillips piece that's behind this cover here. Don't forget to remove that also. Okay, now that you've removed pretty much part of the bike there, next we're going to do is we're going to remove it'll be 5 screws. So just note what's on this side is the same thing on the other side. So it'll be this screw right over here and this screw over here with an 8mm socket. And then once you remove these two on this side and on the other side, there's going to be one center screw which is going to be located right in here. You're not going to have this remote. This is for heated gear. Unless you did do my video on the heated gear department, then you're gonna have to remove your little box. But if you didn't do that video, you are gonna have a screw right here in this area here. So you want to go ahead and remove that, and with that screw, it's going to be a 5mm Allen key. So let's go ahead and remove all those screws. Okay, once you remove all those screws, you're going to notice that your tank cover is going to be kind of wiggly. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you wiggle the tank cover off of the main part of the gas tank pretty much. So just be careful on this, on pushing it up from the bottom. So they're pretty much just held in by, if you notice on your side triangle covers, it's pretty much the same concept with the tank. So these are plastic pieces that go into these rubber parts of your gas tank. It's pretty much the same concept on the tank. So the tank is held up, has these kind of posts underneath of it that goes into these rubber grommets on the tank itself. So just be mindful on that, and as you're pulling it up and off of the bike, just be mindful on that department. Alright guys, after much wiggling it out, here it is. Here's those tabs that I was telling you that go into those rubber pieces, and these tabs over here correspond with these rubber pieces that are on top of the tank right here. So that's what they go into. So that's all you have to be mindful on. So as you're wiggling it out, if you've never removed your tank, it's on there pretty well. So just moving it, this way and this way, rocking it, and then at the same time pulling up, you'll eventually get it out. So next what we're going to do is we are going to remove these rubber grommets out from our old tank, and we're going to install them in our new tank cover. So to remove these bottom ones, as you can see, it's just a metal collar, and as you can see on the other side, it's like a spacer. So you want to just go ahead and push those in, and then from the other side, grab the metal collar out. So, and they're pretty simple to remove. So if you have any difficulty, you could probably use a screwdriver or something to get a little bit of a little bit out, and then to grab it. So go ahead and pull that out, and then to take the rubber grommet, just squeeze the ends like that and then push it through. Or you could just probably push it with your thumb. If the rubber is still soft, you can just probably push it with your thumb. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand because I don't want to put it back on it there to scratch it. So let's see if I can do this for you guys. So just squeeze it and then pull it out, just like so. So you're gonna go ahead and put these pieces to the side. So like I said guys, so just remove this one, pretty much all the rubber pieces. So all 3 of these on this side and all 3 of these on the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, and don't forget to remove that center piece, which is right here for your other screw. So don't forget to remove that, which is also the same thing. It's that metal collar and then the rubber piece. So go ahead and remove that also. Okay, so next what we're going to do on before we install the R1 tank cover onto the bike is that we want to make sure that we get the rubber grommets that we took off from the original, and we're going to go ahead and put it on this one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this one, and remember, it's going to be the rubber grommet with the little metal ring on it. So let's go ahead, and what you're going to do is first we're going to remove this little metal piece. So let's go ahead and just take it off. That way, without this in it, it actually makes this thing a little bit more flexible to stick it into the hole there. Okay, so there's no real wrong way of actually inserting this in. So let's just go ahead, and you may want to just squeeze it and then feed it through here, and then just work it until you have it popped out through here like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, now that you've installed the rubber piece on both sides, so one on this side and then obviously one on this side, as you can see, now you're gonna grab the metal piece that you took out earlier, and you're gonna make sure that this flat piece is on the inside, as you can see right here. So make sure that this flat piece goes in like this. So go ahead and just pop that through the hole. Just wiggle it in, but as soon as you get it in, it should look like this with the flat piece here, and then the other part sticking out there. And then you want to do that for both, so go ahead and grab this one and push this part through on this end. Okay, after you get that done, as you could see, there it is. And then on the inside, you could see the flat part of the metal. Next, we're going to do is we're going to grab the other rubber grommet, and we're going to put that on this little oval part here. Just make sure that you put the wider piece. As you can see, there's a wider piece over here on the top, and then you got the smaller part on the bottom. The smaller part goes on the inside, the wider part goes on the outside like this. So go ahead and let's put that on this one, and go ahead and put it on that one too. Okay, so now it's time to put the tank cover onto our gas tank. And it's up to you if you want to give your tank a little wipe down with a towel. You don't have to, but I always like to do so, so I already did that. And then also, if you wanted to do LEDs, now would be a good time to install your LEDs inside, and generally be around this area right over here. So right over here on this side and one over here. That way, when you look at it, it'll give a nice glow effect. I do have LEDs, but I'm not going to do that right now. I will install those at a later time. All right. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this right over our gas tank. And what you want to do, as you can see, it's not going in all the way. And the reason is because of the lip of our gas tank. So on this side, what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand on both sides on the inside. And as you're putting it inside, you're going to pull on the tank cover outwards. So just, go like this, give it a little bit of flex so you could get it over the lip of the tank. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. So you may want to wiggle it, go in from the back, and then slide it towards the front, which will make it a little bit easier when you do so. So as you go ahead and put it on there, just feel for it, and then just fit it right over. As you can see, here is the lip of the gas tank. So we're gonna have to make sure that the plastic cover goes underneath like so. Let's go ahead and do that. So we want to make sure that we have everything properly lined up the lip. And as you can see, it went over fairly easy. All right, so everything is lined up pretty well. Go ahead and insert your screws on both ends, tighten them down, and then don't forget to do the one in the front. Okay, now this is the back end. Now what you're going to do is you're going to grab each end, and we're going to pull it apart just a little bit so you can get over this little metal bracket. So do it carefully, and it should slide into place. And if anything, you may want to feed the bolt through on each end so you could actually line it up with the screw nut on the other end. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we got our screw right here. You can see. I'm gonna go ahead and put it through on this end, just so I can make sure I properly line up the screws, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. So want to make sure that you have them lined up and are able to tighten them down. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these two down now. Okay, so now that I got it lined up here, I did find out that there is a little bit of some fitment issues. So now when you look here in the hole, as you could see that it's off a little bit. So I'm gonna have to make this hole a little bit bigger to accommodate the screw, and it's gonna probably be without that spacer. But if I'm able to put that spacer on there, I will put it so it's not swapping around. But I don't think it's gonna do so because it's just so tight. So as you can see that little half oval right there, that's where the screw hole is, or on the frame, which is not really properly matching up right now with the cover. So I'm going to go ahead and use my plastic Reamer tool to make the hole a little bit bigger so I could actually put the bolt through there. Other than that, the screws over here did line up fairly decently to get the screws in. And then finally, the screws over here are not really lining up as well. I'm not sure if you could see that, but the screw hole is pretty much in this general area right over here. So I don't think I'm really too concerned about putting the screw back over here on both sides on this end. Just mainly these two screws here and the one in the front should be okay to have in place. Okay, so I encountered a little bit of an issue with the longer bolt. With the longer bolt, putting it into that front part of the tank cover, it was not fitting all the way, and I was starting to strip a little bit of the nut on the frame of the bike. So instead of really messing it up, I decided to go with a smaller screw and then also a smaller collar instead of the bigger collar, which was this one. So instead of this one, it's actually a smaller one, which, as you can see, it's smaller size, and it fits perfectly into the hole right there. So with that, it gave it so that way the cover's not moving around. As you can see with this one, it's like a nice fit. So same thing with this one. So I used a smaller screw and it fits perfectly fine. And let me show you over here on the tank cover itself, and there it is. So now that we have this lined up very well, that screw is in there tight, and then we got these two screws already in there tight. And then, like I said, for that screw over here, not even going to worry about, because it's pretty much on there securely, so we don't have to really worry about putting those extra screws, because the hole is not lining up on either side, so no need to worry there. So next we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put back our front covers on both left and right. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, now that we got those plastic pieces there on the side, now the biggest hurdle I had was when I was putting this piece in, I had to kind of go over underneath the lip over here, so that's going to be a little bit of an issue when you guys install your plastic piece on there too, because it becomes pretty much very tight when putting it back on. But once you get it over, you're good to go. Okay, now let's go ahead and install our triangle pieces back on, both on this side and the other side. All right, guys, as I was trying to install the triangle piece back on there, I noticed a flaw in the design over here. As you can see, we have a rubber grommet which is going to correspond with our triangle piece, and it's going to be this part right here. Upon trying to install it, I've noticed that the rubber piece is actually not in the right spot for our piece to go into. This piece is actually hitting this part right here, which is right next to that circle rubber grommet. So if I put it on there, as you can see, these pieces right here, so we got, zoom in back here. All right, so we got this piece that should go in here on the top, this bottom piece which is going to go here at the bottom, and well, obviously this piece is going to go right here, and then we got that little notch which is right here that goes inside this spot over here. So when putting it on there, this part obviously goes in good, the bottom part obviously goes in good, but this one, when I go, not sure if you guys could see, let me see if I could get a better shot for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then here's a close-up view of what I'm talking about. As you can see, it's just hitting right there, and the hole, it's all the way located on the left, and that's not going to work for us because ours is over here on the right, and I'm not sure why it's not lining up right, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and drill the other hole out, and then it should allow it to go inside with no problems. Okay, so I made the hole. As you could see, it's a pretty big hole. It had to be a 1/2 inch hole. So now that I have the hole there, now the plastic piece goes in with no issues. So let me show you. Go ahead and line that up there, and as you can see, now it goes in without a problem. So that's what you're going to need to do. If you encounter the same problem, just go ahead and drill out a hole at 1/2 inch size, and you don't have to worry about putting the rubber grommet on there. You can leave the rubber grommet over here, it's fine, because any bigger you're gonna run out of material. So as long as this piece goes in there, you're perfectly fine, and it's going to be secured by a bolt here on this side and a bolt here on that side. Alright guys, so now we're on the other side of the R1 tank cover, and I noticed on this side we also have an issue that even though the peg is almost pretty much at the hole, it's not really going in there. So I think if I remove the rubber grommet, I think it should probably fit pretty well. So that's what I'm going to do. If you have that same problem, you're going to have to remove the rubber piece also. If you don't have that problem, that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it, and then we'll check fitment again. Okay, so I already removed the little rubber piece, so let's go ahead and check if it fits. So you guys can see what I'm doing there. We're concentrating on this hole over here since we already removed the rubber grommet. We're gonna go ahead and see if that helps on letting us install this triangle piece back on. Okay, so I got it there, and if I push it up, it looks like it'll go in. Yep, there we go. Okay, so it went in. Alright, so now we got that triangle piece on. So I think if it's ever time to remove that piece, it's going to be a real pain. You're just going to have to kind of move it around to get it to pop out again. If that's going to be an issue, you may want to make the hole a little bit bigger. That way it'll be a little bit easier to remove it in case you ever need to do so. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put our screws, one over here and one over here. Put our seat back on and then put our rear cover back on. Then you could either put your seat cowl or you could put your normal passenger seat back on. Okay, once you're done putting everything together, this is how it should look like, minus the R1 style tail cover. Like I said, if you don't have that one installed, it'll be just your normal tail end. And this is so far how it looks on the bike. It's looking pretty sharp. I'm actually digging the matte black color, doing a nice little stealthy look. But I'm still going to paint my bike at the candy apple red like I was saying before. It'll just be during the summer time. Alright, so now let's check as far as steering is concerned to make sure that we have enough clearance when we turn our handlebars. Now as far as this is concerned, as you can see, we still have plenty of space. I would say probably a good 1.5 millimeters of space or 1/2 inch. So there's no, and that's already all the way and it's not hitting it. So there's plenty of clearance on that department. As far as the other side is concerned, if we turn this all the way, we still have plenty of space. If you happen to have something like this, the crimp buster, it could be an issue if you have it in all the way, because it will hit the tank if you have it in this position. If you have a little bit up, you'll have plenty of clearance. I would say up to there clearance, but if you have it more towards the bottom, it will definitely hit the tank if you actually turn the handlebars all the way. But other than that, there's plenty of clearance on either end for the handlebars. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And like I said before, I'll have a link in the description below on where I purchased the R1 tank cover. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button. That way you guys will be up to date every time I post a video up on my channel. And thanks for watching.